Here are 3 reasons why to subscribe to Fringe Financials on YouTube. Number 1, it is free, which is the best price that you can pay for this kind of content. 2, I am completely transparent with all of my investments. And number 3, I have a variety of educational videos every single week. Now let's get on with the video. What is going on, guys? It is Fringe Financials here, and as you will see with today's video, we are covering my options trading strategy for passive income. If you're excited to see what this content is for today, make sure that you smash the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell notifications. Thank you for all your support, as I just realized we had our first video over 100 views, which is absolutely fantastic, and I appreciate every single one of you for taking the time to watch the videos. So hopefully today's video gives you some more information as to what I am doing with my portfolio. If you watched the video from a little while ago, I did in fact sell off almost all of my dividend portfolio. But again, I still like passive income, so I now have an options trading strategy, which hopefully provides that passive income like dividends, but it gives me bigger returns compared to my dividend portfolio. So the first thing that I want to talk about is what are options. Now, options are contracts that are between buyers and sellers. It's just like when you go to a local store and you buy a product from whoever it is. Maybe you go to the grocery store and you are buying milk, right? So you're buying milk from someone who is selling milk. So there's 2 sides to it. And that's how option contracts first start off. You have a buyer and you have a seller. Now, with each contract and options, each contract is equal to 100 shares of the company. This allows you to have exposure to 100 shares worth of the company without having to pay for 100 shares up front, which is kind of nice. It gives you exposure without having to have, $10,000, $20,000 up front for the buyers. All right. Now, with these contracts here, you have calls and you have puts. So we have call options here with buyers and sellers, and you have puts with buyers and sellers. Call options are with the focus that a price is going to go up of a certain stock. So say Amazon is at $100 a share. Your call option might be that I'm going to bet it'll go to $110 a share for whatever the reason is. And then you also have a put option. A put option is the opposite. Essentially, you are betting that the price is going to go down. So say Amazon's at $100, and you might bet that Amazon might go down to say $95. So you can bet for the price to go up. We can bet for the price to go down. And again, we have buyers and sellers with calls and puts on both sides of things. Now, when you are a buyer of a contract, you need to pay a premium upfront in order to secure the rights to whatever the contract is. Whether it's a call, whether it's a put, whatever it is, you have to pay a premium upfront to the seller to give you the rights to the contract. It's just like when schools put on musical plays. Schools are putting on like musical plays that are super famous. They need to give money to the producers of the play so they have the right to put it on and perform it for the school. The same thing here. You pay a bunch of money up front, and that way you have the right to buy a contract or the right to sell one. All right. And again, the seller is the person that receives the premium as a result. Now, my option strategy is focusing on me being the seller of the contract. I'm not going to be the one buying it. I'm the one selling it. I'm the one that's going to be collecting the premiums every time someone buys my contracts. And I'll explain how this is going to work on the next slide. So this is what is called the wheel strategy. So first, what I do is I sell a cash secured put. A cash secured put is just like what's in the name. I'm going to sell a put option, but I need to have cash available in case I'm obligated to buy the shares. Okay, so what happens is this. The example over here will hopefully kind of clarify it. Say I have a stock here and I'm going to sell a put option and I'm going to hope that it doesn't go to $50. That's like the strike price. That's like what the focus is. I'm going to hope that it doesn't go to $50 a share. That's what the goal is. Now, as I am selling the contract, there's also a buyer who will pay me what is called a premium. So say the buyer says, I'm going to buy the rights to this contract, and I'm going to give you $230 in order to have the rights to this contract. Okay, so I get $230 up front, and the buyer pays $230 up front to me. So there's 2 scenarios that happen in this instance. Let's say that the stock does not reach the price. Let's say the stock closes at, say, $52 or $51 or even $50.50. If the stock does not reach that strike price of $50 even, I get to keep the $230 and I do not buy the stock. So I do not have to purchase 100 shares of the stock, which is great. I get $230 and then I can just do it again and then do it again and then do it again until I have to buy the shares. So option one is it doesn't hit $50 and I get to keep the profit of $230, which is the premium that the buyer paid for the rights to it, which is great. That's the first idea. The second one is what happens if it hits $50. So if the stock reaches $50, I am obligated to then buy 100 shares of the stock, but at least I buy it at a cheaper price. So say it was at $52 and then it goes down to $50, I'm buying each share $2 less than what it was at previously. So it's a little bit of a discount for me. Now, with that being said, how it works is that I have to buy 100 shares of the strike price here, which would be $50 times 100, which is $5,000. The nice thing is that I actually get to keep the premium, which is $230. So I buy the shares at $5,000 and I keep $230 of premium here. So the maximum loss that I have when I sell a cash secured put is $4,770. That's because if I get assigned all those shares, I have to buy $5,000 of it, but I made $230. So the difference is $4,770. My max loss is this if the stock price goes to zero. Now, this strategy works well if you're buying companies that you are confident will not go to zero. So when I trade these kind of stocks and these options, I'm looking at cash secured puts on, say, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Tesla. Those companies are not going to go to zero. If they go to zero, we're going to have a huge collapse in our economy. So I'm picking stocks that I would love to own, and I'm basically just owning them at a discount. Instead of me paying $52, I pay $50. I save myself some money in the long term, which is really, really nice. So the first thing you do is you sell a cash secured put. Either it's the price stays above your strike price and you get to just keep the premium, or it hits the strike price and you buy the shares, but you keep the premium as well. Now, what happens if you have to what happens if you have to buy those 100 shares of the stock? What happens if I have to buy these shares now? What is the next step to do? Well, the next step to do is to sell what is called a covered call. So now that I have 100 shares of this company, the next part of the wheel strategy is to sell a covered call. Now, again, I'm selling a contract to a buyer, and the buyer is paying me a premium for me to give them the rights to the contract, whatever it is. Okay? So that's what the focus is that I'm collecting all these premiums as I'm trading and buying these stocks here. Okay? So the covered call essentially is very similar to what a cash secured put is. And the idea is that I'm selling it where I'm hoping that it doesn't hit, say, a certain strike price. Okay. So say, for example, that my strike price is, say, like $85. I'm going to hope that this company will not hit $85 as a strike price. Okay. If it hits $85, I will have to sell my 100 shares that I have. So say I got them for 83, I could sell them for 85. So I have to sell my 100 shares to the buyer of the contract, but I get to keep the premium, which is great. Say I wanted to say I have a strike price at $85 and it doesn't. Say it only finishes at $80 or $83 or whatever it is. I don't sell my shares and I keep the premium, which is really, really nice. So I keep the premium and I keep the shares. So say I have 100 shares of Amazon and I sell this contract for, say, whatever the price is, and it doesn't hit that price, I keep my 100 shares of Amazon and I get the premium, which again is passive income. I didn't work for it. I just sold a contract and I get to keep whatever the buyer gave me. And just like I was saying earlier, if the stock price reaches that price, I sell the shares for a profit, hopefully a profit, and I keep the premium. So let me give you another example. Say that I got assigned 100 shares at $80. It's not on here, but say I get assigned to $80 here. And I set my strike price at $85. Say the stock goes from 80 to 85. I then get the premium still, but each share I owned made $5, and I have 100 shares of them. So I actually make $500 of the share appreciation plus the premium that I got earlier. So it's kind of like a double win situation. The issue is what happens if, you get assigned at $80 and it goes to like 74 and then you sell at 78. Like, there's ways you can still lose money on it. I'm not talking about the losses today as much, but keep in mind that there are risks to options trading. It is not like a guaranteed success, but this is the strategy that I am rolling with. All right. So let me summarize how the wheel strategy works. And this graphic kind of really summarizes it. So I'm going to sell a put. Okay. So I'm going to sell a contract to a buyer and they're going to pay me a premium and say, give me the right to this contract if the price hits $100. If it doesn't hit $100, I keep the money and I just sell a put again, over and over again. Say it hits $100, I then have to buy the stock. So I buy the stock down here. Now I own 100 shares. I'm down here. So I own 100 shares of stock. I then sell a call. I'm going to sell a call option and I'm going to get premiums on top of appreciation. So say I buy it for $100 and I sell a call at 105. If it doesn't hit 105, I keep the shares and I sell again another call. Say it hits $105, I then sell the stock and I then have all my cash available to then do it again and again and again. And this is the wheel strategy right here. So essentially it's just you're doing it over and over again. So again, just to summarize, I know I summarized it again, but I summarized it before, I'm going to summarize it again. You sell a put. So you say this stock won't go below this price here. The buyer says, give me the rights to this contract, and they pay you money up front. Say it's like $50, $100, whatever. If your contract hits that price, you are then obligated to buy 100 shares. So you then have to buy the 100 shares down here. Now that you own 100 shares of that company, you then sell a call. Basically, you're going to say, this contract might go up to a certain price. And then again, you have a buyer again down here who will buy the contract rights for a premium value up front. If it hits that price, you sell the stock and you keep the premiums and the appreciation of the stock. And if it doesn't, you keep the shares and you sell a call again. You can just keep selling calls. You can keep selling puts until you have the assignments happen. So step 1 and step 3, you can do over and over and over again until you get the assignments in 2 and 4. That's when the strategy switches up a little bit. But again, it's a wheel because you just do it over and over and over again. And this strategy does work. It's worked so far for me. I've made $214 last week by selling ones for Google, Amazon, AMD, and Alibaba. And this week I'll be doing hopefully the same thing. You can do it for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever, but it does create passive income. So hopefully you guys were able to follow somewhat how the wheel strategy works here. Again, this is not financial advice and there are risks to this strategy here. But hopefully the goal was to kind of bring awareness to what I'm doing and how I can hopefully get better returns. At the rate I'm going, if I keep making 200 a week, I'm making 10 grand in a year, which would be about 30% on top of my from my 30 grand that I have in cash. Not going to be feasible. I feel like I'm going to have some times where it might be a little bit more of a smaller like profit periods here and there. But it does give me kind of an idea as to like I can hopefully maximize and get better returns than what my portfolio was doing right now. And if you want to keep up with how I'm doing the strategy here, please make sure you follow me on Instagram at Fridge Financials, because that will also be where I'll be posting all my profits, losses, and everything else there. So you can follow along for that as well. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys learned somewhat about how the option wheel strategy works. And again, if you made it this far, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell notifications. And with that being said, guys, I will see you guys in the next video.